You thought you were about to go into the video game. I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking of Spoon 1000. I thought I was going to go into the video game that I'm about to watch. And to be honest, you are my doing fans. I'm just going to take you there right now. In style. Yeah. Style indeed. Yeah. Warning. For those who are under 21, yes, I'm looking at you and telling you, cannot allow to watch this video, episode, series, or even playlist without your parents' permission. If you are watching this without your parents' permission, then you are a silly person. It's not my fault, it's your fault. You have been warned. Hello, everyone. Nation, boys, girls, and strangers, and all them. It is me, Superior 9000, but you call me Superior. Yes, that's right, the game streamer that nobody knows of the future, becoming entrepreneur, extraordinary influencer, pro game streamer, actor, model, and creator, broadcaster, and future wrestler. And yes, that is what my dumb advice. You got to tell about once again playing and continuing the story series of Amorous. The story continues. Now, before I get down into the video game business, just gonna throw down 3 first cards down. That'll be the end of my turn, so I'll activate them at the end of the recording streaming session. And if you're new to this channel, please press the button to subscribe, press the button to follow, and press the button to like, follow, subscribe, and support. And once you press those 3 buttons, you'll officially join the Superior 9000 Empire Corporation International Enterprise to make the channel bigger, better, stronger, and more noticeable in the future to all other social media account platforms and game streaming channel account platforms. Now, enough chatting from your boy Superior 9000. Well, let's get to work and let's get into the video game business. Oh, and before I do, if you missed the previous episode, do not worry, my Doe fans. Your superior will leave it in the description down below. And I'm looking at it and I'm telling you, I hope each one of yous are ready and have got your chin clothes on, got your drink, got your snack, and I hope you're been to Lulu, and I hope you are chilling out on the bed, or on the sofa, or on your gaming chair. Now, as I said before, enough to chatting for me. Let's get to work and let's get into the video game business. Here we go. Ah, must be daytime. Yeah, last episode was nighttime. Let's call Seth. Cool. Our next few meetings were sadly short and very busy. Seth wouldn't let me come over until I had in his words. Cleanse the apartment from ceiling to floor at least twice. Despite my answer that not everything needs to be perfect or perfection, there was no swaying him. That said, he kept to his promise and called me often when we weren't at the coffee talking about his work on the story. He was de-drafting. Finally, the day has arrived. Seth agreed to meet at the coffee shop with a smile that just wouldn't quite, well, probably wouldn't quite stop. Finally, the day has arrived. Oh, alright. Make sure to save it, because you never know, it'll be a game crash. Right, right, I believe once again, right enough with the world to accept yes. I know you've been patient with that, Superior. Thank you. I want everything to be absolutely perfect, or even perfection. Seth said. Superior Plaza says, Seth, you didn't have to go overboard with this. I'm not going to judge you on the cleanliness or your apartment or anything. I mean, you've been to my house. Need I say more? Surprise said, can't I just go a little overboard? I mean, you are helping me with my writing. I've been more professionally been in years, Seth said. Superior replies and says, I like to think that I have something to do with that. Still, I'm more happy to come over. Should I bring anything? Seth says, I'll leave that completely up to you. I should have everything covered, but I'm certainly not averse to your personal touch, Seth said. Superior said, alright then, I'll give it some thought. We were going over another story today. Your bag doesn't seem to be bulging with notebooks as per usual. Spirit says. Seth replies and said, no, not today. I've been a little too busy doing some other last minute things before tonight. I wanted to make sure that everything was just right, and, well, I forgot to write anything recently. You know, we'll go to the top one. Spirit says, oh, I was hoping to see what you have come up with next. I particularly liked the last bit of the short fiction you did. Spirit said, and Seth replied, thanks. I was trying something new with the narration approach, and glad to hear you liked it. But I've also been talking to your ear off about writing lately. How are things with you? Seth said. Spirit replied and said, oh, well. Yeah, I'll be honest, great. I've been hearing back from a few places about jobs, trying to stay active and positive. Aside from that, not much else. My day to day is fairly mundane, or boring, we want to say. Seth said, better comfortable a humdrum life than to live in ancient Chinese curse, as it were. Superior says, I get by Kobe, been asking if you are going to stop by again. He seems to like you quite a bit. Superior said, I like him too, even when he gets a little flirty. I can see why he's a big part of your life. Superior says, there has been one thing you haven't talked about. Did Nick Angel ever get back in touch with you? Supplies, not yet. These things do take time, and I know there's no way to rush it. It's just that the waiting is agony. Seth said, and Superior replies and said, I'll do my best to distract you from that as much as possible tonight then. I shall come in my suit and tie. Supplied, black tie is completely optional though. For imagining you in formal wear, this very pleasing image. To people that you think I look good in fancy clothes, you just see me out of them. My bow wiggle must have been too much for him as he sank into his paw. Supplier said, does that line usually work on people? Seth said, Superior said, the law of average suggests that it will eventually. I just have to keep trying. Superior said. And continues to reply and says, I must say you are certainly overselling the date here. I feel as I thought I'm going to be completely unprepared for what you have in store. Superior said, and Seth replied, I wouldn't say completely, but I do hope to inspire some. Oh. Superior, is there anything I should bring? Anything I should do to prepare myself for this experience? Superior said, and Seth replied, being that this is the first real day we've had, at least, in my humble opinion, I've got to great length to make itself significant. All I require is your attendance at 6ish at my place, Seth said. Superior replied and said, which may I point out, you still haven't told me the address of or location of your place. So replied, oh wait, I suppose I got a little ahead of myself there, laugh out loud. He finished through his bag in a moment and produced a slip of paper, quickly scribbling down his information. Surprise said, now, don't follow in my footsteps, and though this is the wash, if you are late, I'll call to check in, so keep your phone on. Okay. Superior replied, yes sir. If we don't have any writing to correct it, then you don't want to grab some lunch or something else? Supplier says, no date until tonight. I don't want to spoil it. Superior, it's just lunch. We can chat about non-romantic things like weather or the current state of sport ball. Besides, you can't have too much of a date and they're not wanted anymore. At least I hope you can't. Supplier said, I know I'm being a little silly, but you've done so much for me. Intentionally or not, I want our first serious date to be perfect. Superior reply says, alright, just don't get your expectations too high. We're both just people after all. He smiled at me, taking my hand in his for a moment. It was nice just to be together in one place without obligations. That was what worried me most about tonight. What he might be expecting. I never considered how dangerous it might be dating a guy who likely got most of his ideas from reading romance novels. So plus I promise it's all in hand and comfortable level of hope. He glanced up at the clock over the counter and his smile shifted suddenly to a look of concern. So Plies said, is that the time? Sorry, Superior. I need to run. Just at least a few things I need to do and to finish before our date. Now, you've gotten the time and address? Superior nodded and put in the pocket when he saw both. Seth said, good. Now I expect you there promptly. I've got plans that will be time Pacific. Superior Advice says, I'll be at your door at 6 at the dot, probably with bells on. Suppose stick with your fancy clothes, unless you're only wearing the bells. He got a bit bullish at me, both from his comment and the soft peek on the cheek he gave me before he stood up and placed it on the table. Suppose a copy on me today. I'll see you tonight. I sipped some more coffee. Isn't it and growing knots if I felt in my belly? I wish it was 7 for had been for one strange encounter after another. I could only imagine what he had planned for tonight. Still, I wasn't about to pass up the chance to find out. Not when it meant finding out more about this double esoteric feeling. course, without our session, most of my afternoons was empty. Kobe was out with some friends, and I had the house to myself. I could only put around for so long before I found myself staring at the closet and wondering, what should I wear? Looks something fancy. It started as a joke, but once I spotted my suit hanging in the far corner of the closet, I began to reconsider after all. If Seth was going all out, why shouldn't I? Well, it wasn't a fit. I changed a bit since I last wore it. Still looked quite nice on me. The smooth lines really flattened my form. After I've gotten myself cleaned up and dressed and looking my best and very sharp, my thoughts I drifted back to the date. Seth said I didn't have to bring anything, but maybe I should. Anyway, just in case. And plus be on the safe side. Let's see. The date would be improved with a nice printing of flowers. Something to bring and brighten up his home and show him just how much I appreciate what he was doing. There was a little flower cart just up the street nearby. I could swing by the way to his apartment. Once I got myself together and made my decision, I looked down at the clock. It was getting awfully close to 6, and I haven't left yet. I grabbed my keys, locked the house up, and got into my car. My car was just beginning to close up when I rounded the corner and pulled up. The selection was minimal, but the owner was more than happy to put together a custom thing for me. He gave me a grin and a wink as I thanked him. By the time I made it back to the car, I noticed I was going to be running a little late. Hopefully, a gift would make and help to make up for the lost tardiness. Made one through the lobby and up the appointment area. It appears that Seth hadn't been kidding about being a trust fund kid. The apartment building itself wasn't in my home. Once I had gotten his doorbell, after checking the note twice, I knocked. Suppose just a minute. I heard some scrambling, a few muttered expletives, and finally the sound of metal colliding with a wooden cardboard. I was about to express my concern when Seth opened the door. President surprised to see I was right. President suit. Very dapper and flattering. You should wear it more often. I seem to recall something about saying you should be prompt. To be replied, said, it was good, of course, I promise. Seth said, we'll see how true that statement is. Well, what do you think of the place? Once inside, it was clear that Seth wasn't kidding about his apartment. Despite the rather posh interior of the building, his own apartment was very simple, furnishing and aside from a few pictures and big back, the living room had only a couch, coffee table, and a TV on stand. People said, it's nice, simple, clean. Just smiled me before sitting down as seeming a part of the small dining room table. Suppose never of any sense that a person actually lives here. Suppose that everyone got their own taste. Speaking of which, when did you learn how to cook? Smells delicious. Otherwise, thanks. Can't take all the credit. However, most of it goes to the cooking channel and the cookbook I snagged from the library. Of course, I wasn't sure what you might like to eat, so I may have gone a little overboard in the terms of available dishes. Make me hungry now. Superior Plus said, that's alright. Why they invented the reusable containers and microwaves, and with pressed food you said you haven't really ever cooked. He chuckled and took my hand, leading me to the spread laid out on the table. Again, he wasn't kidding. There were half a dozen dishes crammed into the small space. Rolls were neatly nested in the skid and 3 different types of spread, from savoury to sweet, laid out the kitchen counter. Supplier said, you might all this with just 2 of us? Supplier said, turns out, being rather new to cooking, I wasn't aware of portion size. I mean, I thought it was quite a bit of a food when I got the ingredients, but I guess I assume it would contains or reduce whenever it is that the chef do to the food. People said, man, I could take a leftover and you'll still be set for a while. So I said, be sure to save room for dessert. I baked 3 dozen cookies. Not much of a biscuit person or cookie person, but I'll take ice cream now. My eyes went wild as Seth smiled awkwardly at me. Not that I classically trained the chef myself, but I couldn't even finish the thought before I burst out laughing. Superior said, next time you should pay closer attention to the I can't even say the word, receipt or recipe. It's probably to save you some money on your grocery bill. Oh, I almost forgot. I stood up from the couch and went to the door. When I had sat down after scooping it up and given up a fruitless search through the kitchen for a vase, I filled its sturdy water glass and slid the flowers into it, settling the makeshift vase into a notebook between the rolls and the fresh baked bread, and smiled back at Seth. Superior said, I thought, what kind of date doesn't have some flowers to mark the occasion? He was silent for a long moment, reaching out the rum petal through his fingers. A smile spread across his face as he turned back to face me. Seth said, I love 'em. I've never gotten flowers before. Part of that spontaneous lifestyle, I never thought about how much they can brighten up a room. He leaned over and kissed me gently on the cheek. That said, we should before too much of the food gets cold. 2 of us dug in, filling our plates and headed back to the coffee table to eat. It was exciting and relaxing, and very delicious, of course. I hosted an emotion at all the same time. It was easy to forget my anxieties and just lose myself in the moment, enjoying the delicious and wonderful scrumptious food. I wonder what drinks down then. Seth was eagerly and chatty, discussing his many attempts to inspire himself. The seemingly crazy length he gone to in the hopes of broadening his horizon. Seth said, I'm embarrassed to say, I actually drank half the bottle. Well, there's the answer. We know where the bottle was. Wasn't tested to hunt me even after 12 full caps of mouthwash and a handful of mints. I'm still unable to go anywhere near fresh seafood. Oh, soon enough, dinner was set aside, along with enough leftovers to feed an army. He insisted to take some home, not only because he didn't have the space, but he wanted to thank Kirby again. We sat on the couch, relaxing and nibbling on cookies every now and again. It was then that I noticed the large curtain across from us closed, but already noted the sunset. So I smiled as he noticed my interest getting up and pulling gently on the cord. It was because part, and in the moment I saw the whole city spread out before me. Windows glistening gold and red, and could even see my own house far in the distance, just above the horizon. So sat next to me and just more gently to the glass. Seth Price said, it's really why I picked this place to move. After college, the rent was absurd, and the building was, to me, goody. And the predation, but when I was in the empty room, I couldn't make it to the regular viewing. Convinced the relator to give me some one later that day. I was tired, grumpy from seeing the grades of my file. Once I looked out that window, I thought I saw the harvest moon hanging there, almost transparent in the twilight. The clouds were a deep purple and a few flicks of red spread across them. That just sound nice, actually. The Chinadil I sing least that second. The view was something I had been looking for. Maybe a piece in a bigger puzzle. I found it though, and it's been a source of comfort even in the worst of the times of it. How much Seth said, hearing how much it meant, what kind of impact it had on him, all I could think of was how empty this place would have been if he left, when he left. I saw through the curious look from him gently. He touched my shoulder and I snapped back to the moment. Seth says, what's wrong? You ain't enjoying the view? The view's nice. People, I said, really? I'm okay, I'm just taking it in by the side. It all looks so peaceful and small from up here. Seth was quiet for a moment, gazing at my face as I tried to remain happy. In the moment, he took my hand in his and squeezed it softly. Seth said, I need to show you something. I'll be right back, Seth said. He stepped away, leaving me there in the fading sunlight, gazing out over the sea of buildings. I wanted us to stay in that moment, stay right here until there was nothing else to see really, or till the sun goes. It was so fish, maybe even a pretty, but I wanted it more than anything else right there. I stepped out for the bedroom and back to my side, to my shoulders, and drew my attention to what was in his paw. It was somebody's to a notebook, one I had never seen before. He held it out to me. So go ahead, read it. It's embarrassing, but it's something I need to share. Confused, I opened it. Mostly it was pages of doodles and a few snippets of bad poetry and some notes of classes, a few dates I saw placed is probably in his high school years. However, one thing that stood out, it was a short, clumsy but innocent story of a young man who admired a fellow student. In a awkward, beautiful prose, it spoke of the distance, the edge of the loathing that he could not approach the person he desires. It ended on a silly, snappy note. The focus of his affection finding the notebook and falling equally in love, a short note followed through the name of its interested reader was sketching out in the black ink. It read, I can't say this was my voice, so I used my words. I closed the notebook and looked up at Seth. Seth replies that it was my first story. He was the first person to inspire me enough to try to write. Down the road, I may have remembered it as some feelings high school crush, but would still reach sometimes. People said you never showed it to him. So I said, no, I did. What little confidence I had probably had my head forward while we were in the library. He read it, page after page, in complete silence. When he was done and looked back into my expectant eyes, he said nothing. He simply laid the notebook on the table in front of me. I got out of his chair and left the room. I didn't see him the next day or the day after. When I finally asked someone, they told me his parents had moved and has gone with them. Oh, Seth, Spears said. For 2 years, it was me. But he left a part of me still thinks that's all of me for the cover. When youth and the power of information, maybe you were more than right. You thought maybe my experience would have been better spent on Remote Snowball. I wanted to say something, anything to turn the conversation away from this topic. I opened my mouth to speak, but when I saw Seth's lips spread into a smile, Seth said, what I want to say, what I'm saying awkwardly as I did in that notebook, is that I care about you. Intentionally or not, you drew me back out of that haze of loss and regrets. You were enough to draw a whole book out of me. You are the reason I'm here, that I even got here in the first place. And I'm not going to let you go. Not like I did the last time. I had this chance, Seth said. He stepped forward and I poured into my hands, pressing himself close as he kissed my cheeks softly. Seth said, so let's forget about it for a moment, and let's just enjoy it for a few more minutes before your practical and my anxiety brings it back up. Seth said, alright. For you, I can try. I can't swear I won't think about it, but I'll try to stay here, Spear said. Surprised said, that's all I need right now. It's been too perfect of an evening to let it go so soon. Besides, I seem to remember our celebration requiring more than just dinner. I promised dancing too. Seth said, releasing my hand for a moment. His paw tapped the button just below the TV stand. A minute or two later, after a soft, simple melody began to play over hidden speakers. His paw slid back into my hand and squeezed softly as he drew close to me and began to sway with slow and measured times. Surprisingly, it's not the same music as the club, but at least we can talk over this. I squeezed his paw back softly, drawing him close as the two of us began to go across the soft carpet floor. His eyes remained looked out of mine, glimmering in the dimming sunlight but all of the dance faded from my mind. It didn't make it easier holding him close to me, feeling his fur against my skin. I didn't want to lose this either, but could I, couldn't be so selfish? Seth lowered his hand, pressing his cheeks against my chest, pulling it softly, almost humming with the music. I couldn't help but smile in return. I wasn't quite sure when the music stopped. Our bodies still pressed close, but something stirred us enough from that embrace. I glanced at the clock and sighed softly. Seth said, please don't leave. Seth said, I don't want to. I hope you know that by now, but dinner's over, it's nearly dark. Seth said, then stay here for the night. Stay with me. Your beautiful spirit, intoxicating and amazing, and 100 other words I know, but I just fall short of my tongue. Superior said, it's not fair to use your wily wise on me, you know. Surprise said, you know what I say, in the moment, in this perfect moment. I say, fuck what the fair. I want you, Superior, do you want me to? The words caught in my throat, my body tensing as he lifted his lips upwards and presented them firmly against my own. His paws released my hands and wrapping around my waist and folding one over the other at the small of my back. It had been too long since I felt this and aching needs of another. The passionate embrace. My hands came to rest on his shoulder, covering them and pulling his body even tighter against my own. Gas escaped her lips, swallowed eagerly by the tongue before it could escape. It was as his dam had burst, my needs overwhelming my sense. It was no longer about lost, about the moment slipping away. It was about us together in all ways, exploring each other. Surprise, oh Superior. I need you, Superior. Show me how much you need me to, please. Do you know that safe beneath me of softness and fur? I saw him standing, smiling, his glasses perched on his and notebook in hand. I saw him walked away from me, my hand outstretched as Reacher's step grew dimmer, fuzzier until I could no longer see him. I murmured something softly, and then a light. I woke up, cool, tucked in gently up around me, and the sound of the shower in the distance. The sunlight streamed in through the windows, making me blinking reflect until my eyes closed. Cloud is just a dream, still living in my mind, my eyes watering. Got out of bed, making my way into the living room. So good morning. I admit I was asked away to be here for the night, but I have no regrets. I hope you don't either. Well, to be honest, nope. Not at all. Beyond the obvious lack of toothbrush on my body washed. So I hope we can look at those issues soon. I laughed for a moment and stopped as I watched her expression fall, gazing at something beyond my shoulders, and as I turned out to look, I also drew quite a tiny white box to his. Near the door gave off a steady red blink. A regulate infinite meant he has a message, and both of us knew what that could be. So I saw the caller ID this morning. It was from Donna, Nick's agent. People I said, should you listen to it? I mean, you've come so far, so close. I choked on the sentence, swallowing the words that I didn't want to hear. It's a puzzle. I don't know if I can. It can only mean change of behaviour. I don't know if I'm ready for that particular part of my life. Urgent one comes on. Comes on urgent one. Life always going to be scary and full of risk. I took one getting to know you, spending time with you, and making love to you last night. Still, we can't move on if we ain't able to take risk. So Price said, it's not like continuing to hide from it will change our outcome. It's not a scoring brand or answering machine. He stood over the machine for a long moment, staring down at the pulsing light. I stood walking behind him and placing my hand on his shoulder. He smiled back at me for a moment before his the button to remote true. Donna replies, hi there, Seth. This is Donna from the independent luxury agency. They can pass down on a section of your work to me, and I was calling to discuss it with you. We both held our breath. My throat dried as I waited what seemed to be an eternity for the woman's voice to continue. It's surprisingly good, particularly for an early draft. Don't get me wrong, it needs an editor, but I think that's something we can do for you. Please, come by the office sometime today before 1. I'll let my receptionist know to expect you. If you can't make it, call me back and we will reschedule. John said. So replied, we did it. We actually did it. You're in. Spears said, no, you did it. You're the writer. So turned to the face and smiled, still pointed off his face. No. I mean, you're in this too, remember? Seth said. I chuckled to myself and glanced over at the clock. It was just a little past 11. Spears said, well then, I guess this half of we should get in the shower. no good showing up to our new agency naked and disheveled. So that's the spirit. I'm afraid your suit was a casualty of our recreation last night. Oh, there isn't time to rent it to the cleaners. Spitfire, that's alright. I'm sure we can scrounge up something. The thing of the warm water erased the muscles. It didn't last a certain. Not in my stomach though. My current unemployment position might make this easy at the start, but I couldn't rely on Seth alone. What would I be doing while he was rushing around? I couldn't expect him to carry me. I took a deep breath and let these thoughts wash away down the drain. There would be a time for a specific later. For now, I was going to help Seth achieve his dream. That much was enough for now. Clean dressed together and we stood at the door. It seemed somehow more imposing as we made the leave the invites bed. I felt his paws seek that my hand, twinkling his fingers through on my own as he squeezed softly. So once we walked through that door, everything around us may have changed, but I promise this right here won't. I clutches his tightly. Spear said, I know, because I refuse to lose you either. Supplied then, all that's left is to open that door. I chuckled Seth, ear fastened against his head. With my free hand, I turned the knob and pulled the door open wide. We didn't talk much on the way there, letting the warm air rushing over us and filling our hands together, speaking for us. Felt like I had come far in such a short time. And while I wasn't sure what the future might hold, I knew I had someone there regardless. Well, we actually did it. We succeed. Actually, you know, that's back to me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and teenagers and all that, I am going to end the video here, but if you like this, then I am going to have to make my 3 face down cards. First, I'll do my first face down card. Describe me, Wolfstone, legendary president, will feature as a champion and Pokemon others, but wait, I'm not done just yet. I do my second face down card. Please press the button to subscribe, press the button to follow, press the green button to like, follow, subscribe, and support, but wait, I am not done just yet. I do my third and final face down card, which I'll leave this in the description down below, so you can follow me on social media, Universe World website. And the social media Universe World website are Discord, Steam, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and of course Twitch and Kick. And once you follow, subscribe, and support me, you can join the Superior 9000 Empire Corporation International Industry Enterprise, which are bigger, better, stronger, and more notable in the future to all other social media account platforms and game streaming channel account platforms. This is Superior 9000, the game streamer that never knows the future, becoming entrepreneur extraordinaire influencer, pro game streamer, actor, model, and career broadcaster, and future wrestler. Signing out. Okay, everyone, take care, stay at home, be safe, wash your hands, do this away, and of course, most importantly, and I repeat most importantly, and remember this, wear a mask, and I'll see each one of you on the next video of mine. But before I go, I have one thing to say. Lots of pro game streamers like myself, also legendary and others, can do big things, especially online video game streaming. All you gotta do is type me in the search, click on the channel, and see what videos play on. Okay, oh yeah, this is GG. I'll see what you on the next episode of Amorous.
Thank you for flying Superior 9000 Chat. We hope you enjoy his videos. Support, subscribe to his channel and other platforms as well.